Thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon, or evening, by the way. And I appreciate the opportunity to, we're going to make it as interactive as possible. Obviously, we got some few slides to kind of have a conversation, but what we wanted to share with you is a journey that Sanofi took, but also give you some perspectives on different companies, how they're thinking about it within the life sciences companies. And if you have any questions along the way, we can answer at the end. All right? With that, let's get started. I think the first thing that what we want to do was everybody's talking about Gen AI, Agentic AI, but guess what? We're talking about physical AI. Even in the conference, I've seen so many robots up here, but it's just a manifestation of the AI, not only from a software perspective, but also from a hardware evolution itself. And all of us in this room, I'm pretty sure you're already embarking on that journey itself, but we're going to focus on the Agentic AI today. The way we want to talk through today's conversation is all about, if you look at it's a mind shift thing that goes around. So if you look at the early 1990s or late 1990s and early 2000, we went through the information wiring. That's basically how we were sourcing the information, how we were interacting and all. That was the internet, right? Then we went through the social rewiring. Look, I came in Uber today. We can't live without an app. The next rewiring is a trust rewiring, which is we trust our machines, like AFib for our watches. We take the metro without the drivers. The planes are 99% automatic, but all that trust rewiring is happening. When we talk about agentic rewiring, we call it what's the next evolution of what we talk about is a collaboration, decision-centric rewiring. It's not about automation, it's not about that. This is where we're going to focus today. And if we do this right, in the next evolution would be the ability rewiring where we could do more than what we could do today, right? That's the evolution and the rewiring that we're doing. So if you fast forward from a life sciences perspective, and then Kaoutar is going to share how it's going through, I think there's a huge amount of investments going on across the board, whether at the enterprise level, whether at all the way from the board level to the functional level. Folks are going in deep in terms of rewiring the functions itself. Lots of investments are going on in R&D, commercial, supply chain, manufacturing, but now even the enabling functions are picking up quite a bit. There's a lot of innovation that's happening in the ecosystem itself, whether it's the partners, whether it's the vendors, whether it's the open source, that's collectively helping change the ecosystem itself and helping us accelerate the journey. And also in terms of how do we bring all of these pieces together. So Kaoutar, what else is your reflection from your perspective, from a life sciences perspective, that's changing right now as we speak?
So first, I do agree with you with the fact that it's a mindset shift. I think that what we experiment also in Sanofi, it's a little bit 80%, maybe 70% of the effort. Technology is there, okay, we can handle it, we have skills, and we can find tools in the market. We are receiving every day, every hours, maybe requests about tooling. So that's, I think, a key thing. The other thing that if we look to Sanofi itself, our mission is to make the molecules at the hand of the patient at the end of the day. It's easy to say it, but to make it happen, it's 15 years. From discovery to therapy, or to have this treatment in the pharmacy, it's 15 years. So, and you add to that all industries, they started to experiment AI several years ago. So maybe 10 or 15 years. Sanofi, it's 5 years. So, and the constraint of regulation, of tech, of product, and of the mindset, which is 70%, 80%. So I could not disagree with you, Aditya.
Right. And it's exactly pointed, right? It's the mindset, empowerment, and how do we create the environment for folks to really, it's not a question of experimentation, but it's like, how do we fail responsibly, but also be able to scale what we see is the best in terms of the organization itself, right? So it's a duality mindset that you need to have in this new era where you have to experiment quite fast, quickly, see the value, and then scale from there, right? Perfect. So as we think through it, so one of the key things that Kaoutar and we went back and forth in terms of how do we think about this mindset shift, right? And we talked about like different ways to think about it. We can always say, hey, we can give you a fluency, and then let's see if people can work on it and all. So what we did was, can we look at different dimensions in terms of how you think about it? So first and foremost is value. I think even you heard Paul this morning, who's the Sanofi CEO. hammering on value, 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 value. Whatever we do today, and Sanofi.
Even he created a word. He invented the word of ROA. It's
Exactly.
not ROI.
Right? That's spot on, right? So anything that we do right now, it's a value reimagination. Like, how do we think about this from an ongoing perspective? It's not about tech anymore, right? And even it's multi-dimensional. It's not just, hey, efficiency, I got some cost savings here and there, but it's a multi-dimensional thing of doing it. The second thing that we talked about was the process re-engineering. If you look at process these days, right, we think that we have a process in a company. What are you're doing 5 steps in a core system, 5 steps outside the system because the system can't do it, and then 5 steps in a meeting room, we decide, and then that's collectively a process. But in the agentic way of doing things, it's a completely different way of thinking about it, right? And Kaoutar is going to share how she's been thinking about it within the organization in terms of how to shape it up as an example. But this is fundamental in terms of how you think about the process engineering itself, how it looks like in the future world. The next one, we keep, I would say that even I'm guilty of this, we keep this buzzword of democratization of knowledge and this and that's personalization. But truly, with the agentic, the knowledge, democratization, and also personalization in terms of how I learn and how I interact has completely changed, right? Do you agree with that? That fundamental has become as the block that can actually help both the agents and the humans to grow and be able to make the decisions and take the actions as you want. So that rewiring is happening across the board. The next is, this is the project execution stuff. We are so trained, including myself, for the last 20 years. Very programmatic. Give me a program, I'll go through the SDLC process, I'll get the outcome, and we are done with it. But in this new world, we have to create a flywheel, like the discussion that Kaoutar was saying earlier. We have to keep continuously figure out what the next innovation is coming. The tech is changing for us, the business is changing in our industry constantly. We can't just say, we don't have the luxury anymore to say, I have a system in place, I have a 3-year ROI, and I'm going to upgrade the system again. So we have to be in that duality in terms of how do we keep the flywheel going to be able to keep on innovating, but also creating the value that we need in the organization, right? So, and then the last but not the least is the people at the end of the day. This isn't about how do we create a 10x transformation. I heard this word also from Sanofi too. Like, this is not to replace people. It's how can I create the next 10x transformation for the people that I am investing in, I am growing, I am empowering, and how do I change the equation in terms of how the humans and the machines work together in the future? Anything else you want to add?
So I do agree with you, and I think for us it took a little bit, instead of going directly to value and to ROI, because so Paul today is asking about ROI and the value.
Yep.
But when we started, he started by, we wanted to be the best biopharma company powered by AI at scale.
Yep.
And he didn't start by ROI. He started by investing on people.
Yep.
Because for us, the key things on this journey, because it's a long journey, we are not investing for a year, for 2 years.
Yep.
When we look to that, making a molecule, it's 15 years, and our ambition is to reduce this timeline drastically.
Yep.
What about halving the time?
Yep.
That can be an ambition. You can't do that without having people, your people, inside this company agree with that and buy in that. So we started by that first. And then, yes, we moved to, okay, how we can make it scalable.
Yep.
The word of POC doesn't exist in the company.
Yep.
If I say POC, I'm out. We are not doing POCs. What we are doing is products that we are building, and they will be deployed, and they will be worked for years. And we have a process that we will share afterwards, how we are tracking the value with ExCom members involved there. Every 6 weeks, I'm going, meeting the ExCom members and some senior leaders to track the value on all our GenAI, AI agent initiatives,
Yep.
but with the people.
Yep.
And we need to, because that's for me the baseline. If you don't have the people, how can it work?
Absolutely. Spot on.
And it was funny, the image that we see every time about the hand of the robots and the hand of the human.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you don't have the human hands absorbing the robot's hands, it will not work.
That's right. Spot on and purposeful, right? Okay, so that's the one what we wanted to get away from this is like the mind shift, change that we need to think about, how we want to think through other. The next thing, what we want to do was, all right, how do we think about this? I think we've heard this a lot, right? Any company that I go through, I'm pretty sure in your journey too, people love it. Once you empower the people, they come up with ideas. They come up with like tons of innovation. You don't want to block the innovation, but how do you harness the innovation? So what we came up with is what we call the string of pearls, and I'm pretty sure Kaoutar has a different name to it, but the intent is the same. How do we collectively create the North Stars and the ambition in those areas? How do we connect these capabilities so that we are able to transform that area from an end-to-end perspective? So that's the thinking, rather than saying, let me have these 1,000 flowers blooming and not knowing how they are connecting and creating the value or the transformation that we're looking at. So what was your journey like at Sanofi when we started up, and then where you're ending up right now and moving forward?
So when we started, we had several options. Okay, what are the big bets? It can be an option. The other thing also, what are the quick win? It's another option. Or where we have the champion or the ambassador. It's another option. We didn't choose the first or the second or the third. Yep. What we did, it's all of them. Because again, when we have the molecule, you have your research, you find it. You are okay with it, but we have 3 phases to validate these molecules. You go to the stage of development. You need to develop it because a molecule of 1 meters, for example, who can take it? So there are some stuff around manufacturing of these molecules, right? Then once it's there, where you will do this manufacturing of it, where you will support it from a supply chain perspectives, and once it's done, where you have your patients. Right. Which cities, which country, where then you have your market, targeting, and that's the sales force part of it. It's not the tool, it's more the force or how you can sell it, that all the patient will benefit from these molecules. And then the choice is, okay, to do that, it needs to be everywhere.
Right.
Our choice was, okay, we will go through all our value chain. And by taking into account the word of ROA, which is return of AI, it's not of investment, it's where AI makes sense, because it doesn't make sense everywhere.
That's right.
So then you have 2 things, it's the complexity and yes, the adoption. And for me, the main change there, it's instead of moving that you have a support function, IT or digital, who are here serving the business, we are in the same level of accountability. Because we are delivering tech as a digital, as a data and AI organization, and the business, they are executing the adoption and the transformation. So both hands on hands, that's why we have our slogan, which is stronger together. Yep. Without being together, fully involved with the same accountability, we can succeed.
So you make it very easy, by the way, by saying all that. What was, to make it real, how hard was it to get that mindset and get people aligned to think like that in the organization?
I don't think it was hard. It was much easy. Why? When you have a senior leader, like a CEO, and ExCom member, who are believer, they are not doing that for hype. We are not following the hypes, and we are not saying that, okay, we wanted to be best powered by pharma company, powered by AI, just for a slogan, because at the end, our heart, I will say, it's having the molecule in the market. Right. So when you have these people, they are believing on that, they engage, they have commitment, they make time every 6 weeks, giving you their time to assess the value and to check that, okay, we are going on the right way. Yep. So it helps. Because, of course, as any company in the world, you have some, I will say, follower, you have some detractors, and that's life, that's human. So, yes, but when you have the CEO who is pushing, the ExCom member are pushing, the senior leader are pushing, even the detractors, they will follow. And you can push a little bit the boundary when you are putting that on people objectives. Right. When it impacts your pockets at the end of the day, you move a little bit fast.
Incentives are a big thing. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so the next question comes big for us all the time is like, okay, we gave you some facets of it, but we wanted to bring all that together. So these are I would say, there might be numerous, but we distilled it down and saying like, what are the fundamental building blocks to scale, right? And we gave some examples along the way, but what we want to bring it to life is, and if you can bring it to life from a Sanofi examples as we go along, Kaoutar, is, we looked at this, and when we said like, to Kaoutar's point earlier, from a strategic blueprint perspective, if you don't have a North Star where the organization, what's their ambition, I would say your ambition is your limiting factor, right? Then you don't know what is the potential and how you can drive the company to that. So I think one of the biggest fundamental, I would say, lessons learned for me doing this multiple across a number of companies, including in Deloitte too, this was one of the most important things, and I think Kaoutar mentioned earlier from a top-down aspect itself. So Kaoutar, do you want to share on the strategic blueprint or strategic vision, ambition perspective, what was the rallying call within the organization?
So one objective, which is reduce time from discovery to therapy. That's clear. We believe, we extremely believe that AI can help on that. And when we say that we wanted to be best biopharma company powered by AI, it's not just a statement because of AI. We are at the end biopharma company. We are not OpenAI, we are not AWS, we are not Microsoft, we are not tech company, we are a biopharma company. But we believe, why we are saying that, yes, we need to be powered by AI, because we believe that if we scale AI, not only the AI with ML, agents, Gen AI, but all the AI emerging technology, we believe that we can achieve our objectives, which is reducing drastically the time from discovery to therapy. And we have a purpose, which is cool as a company.
Awesome.
Purpose, it's if you help patients at the end of the day to have their treatment, and if you reduce that, what's amazing if you have a world without patients. Yes, will impact the business model, but that's a great purpose.
Perfect, awesome. And if I go to the next thing that we've seen is the operating model, how you're set up. And again, every company has a different DNA in terms of whether they're centrally managed or they're federated and all, and we've seen different strategies that are played out, but this is a fundamental, I would say, pillar to really harness the best that you have within the organization, also setting them in the path to achieve that strategic vision that you have or the ambition as such. So in your story, journey and all, Kaoutar, how did this play out from an operating model governance perspective?
Yeah, as I said at the beginning, we started by, okay, let's have the adoption, let's scale it, and let's have, it's not we scale it and then it's done, because we have a clear rule, you build it, you run it. Not you build it and then you give it to another organization who will take care of it, to run it and to do the support. You build it as a product team, you run it. But we have some discipline to put in place. And the discipline, it comes with the governance that we put in place. Because we remembered that 2010, when companies started by doing AI, and a lot of advisors said at that time, if you invest $1, you will get $4 at the end of the year. And the opposite occurred. Spending $1, companies, they lost $4 or even more. So we remembered that and said, okay, we can't do an MVP or a product for a year to discover at the end of the day there is no value and it doesn't help, because again, we are chasing the miracle of science. We are running on the same time that's the time. And you can never battle the time. So that's why the discipline was a key. And to put discipline, we put a governance. You have an idea, a great idea. You are a senior leader, an ExCom member, or you are a single contributor in a product team. You follow the same rule, which is you submit your idea with several prerequisites, which is the first, okay, what will be the impact on the business? Clear KPIs. It's not, the great word. I will, reduce the time, like I said. Reduce, it's cool, but reducing by 1 day and reducing by 5 years, it's not the same. But it's the same word, reduce. So we asked people to put clear KPI. What are the value that you are getting? if you put a product, you remove two. Because they should replace in some system that you do have and that you are improving the system that we do have in the company. The other thing, it's about the complexity.
Yep.
And not asking me, I wanted to test. Guys, you are in that role for times, you are expert.
Yep.
If you submit an idea as an expert, you should at least test it to see in the kitchen what will be the results. And you have to have two sponsors. One from digital to assess the complexity, and the other one from the business to assess the value. Because the value, it's not on your domain, because that was the big issue.
Yep.
That there are values, of course. Every time we have values. But a value with a small impact in my world and the global one that will impact the whole value chain, that's really a value. Like, for example, literature review, document factory. Those kind of things, they have a big impact from R&D to commercial. Once it's done, they submit. There is a team, in my team, who will assess that. Will challenge even the business. Like, if you have a business who will tell you the value will be 1 billion. Are you kidding me, man? So, no, there are some, rational things. Because if it's 1 billion, we know who all of us will be today if we are able, just in 3 months, to assess, some. That's also the rule that we are doing. That's the rational things behind it, the feasibility, and if it really makes sense, the complexity, and we ask commitment on the engagement, and the adoption. As we are moving with the product, we need to have the same level of commitment in terms of adoption, and we give them a sandbox to prove their commitment 3 months. If the value is there, and we have but because we should invest also.
Right.
Then we go to the board, the famous board that I shared before with the extra members, say, okay, look guys, we tested for 3 months. That's part of the value that we were able to showcase in 3 months, and we are able to scale, and we give you our plan.
Yep.
And then, yes, we need the money, we need time, we need resource also to do that. But even when we do that, we need to have some timelines and also some point where we can check. And we have, in my team, people who are checking the product development, and you know that.
That's right.
And then I send you an email.
That's right.
Aditya, we are not respecting the time.
Right.
And also the value. So it's really a governance. The question that I got just before coming here from my team, Kaoutar, when we can assess that we are mature enough with this governance, because there are a lot of constraints.
Right.
People, as a human, we don't love constraint. We really like to move fast, and yes, we believe that we can do it. But as an organization, as a company, you can't do that.
Right.
We need some commitment. So that's basically how we are doing that today.
I think you mentioned one thing, but for me, looking at it from outside and boiling it up, I think a key change that you made was you changed the culture of the organization.
That's
the way you wanted to operate, in the way you wanted to create that. I think that's tough. It takes time, and it takes the partnership, the collaboration, and the trust in the organization to do that. But that was my aha moment, watching it from outside in and sometimes inside out. But that's one of the key takeaways for me when I saw that from a different lens asset. So that was an awesome journey.
We had some tough discussion with
Yes,
Aditya.
Very much. Nothing gets resolved these days.
No.
All right, so the next thing, when you come down, we talked a lot about the value realization. I think there's nothing else we want to add to it. But one of the fundamental questions we get asked a lot, another big foundation pillar is like, look, do I need to get all my processes standardized? Do I need to build my data foundations, things like that? I'm pretty sure you got tons of questions. And the other question also comes in like, hey, I have to serve all my different functions in your role as an enterprise. What are the things that you did from a foundations perspective, both from a capabilities, data, and tech, that helped you scale up all the organization? Because I get that question too, like, am I on the 16th on the list or the first on the list? But how did you go about doing that? Because that's one of the questions I'm pretty sure everybody's top of mind right now.
So it was funny because for 1 year I was struggling with how I can, because to be really at scale with AI, you need a data foundation.
Yep.
we have a team specialized on data foundation, on markets, on, I would say, the whole function, R&D, the GBU, M&S, manufacturing, supply, and commercial. And I struggled, honestly. I struggled for a year to democratize this data governance approach. Because if we don't have data, there is no AI, there is no AI agent, there is no Gen AI. And then we changed the name. I was with the chief digital officer of the company, who is my boss, and I told him, Emmanuel, I'm struggling. I can't push more this data governance things. And can we ask Paul maybe to force a little bit the hand as he did with AI? And he told me, you have the answer, Kaoutar. Make it AI. I said, yes. Instead of putting data governance, let's make it AI-ready data. And we created just a word, which is, we took the same governance on the data that we had, the same data foundation, the same KPIs that we are tracking for the data, and we added the stamp. We created a stamp, which is AI-ready data. On the governance that we shared just before, if you came, you need to put that you are AI-ready data, and you need to prove that. Because if your data foundation, it's not AI-ready data, why should I invest on this area?
Right.
Make it AI-ready data, and then comes to me.
Right. That's right. It's brilliant.
That's why we have data for data, and then data for AI.
That's great. It's just a mind shift change. And
it's a mind
lens.
shift.
Exactly. All right. So just going through, I know we are running out of time, but couple of things, right? If you can do all the things in the world, cool stuff and all, but I think I've seen that also but if you don't put the trust in the system, whether we call it responsible AI, which is like guardrails, the trust, ethics, and everything else, it's a moot point, right? So as you went through this evolution, I know it's a tension always, right? How do I fail responsibility but also drive the innovation? How did you balance that out and create the foundation from truly creating a trusted system within the organization to believe what you're doing and also ushering the innovation?
So you have fundamental stuff, which are, as we mentioned, the data. So we need to clean and to prepare the data for the future. The other thing is, you need to think about when and where it makes sense to buy and where it makes sense to build. Not everything can be a buy, and not everything can be a build. So we came up with our AI Foundry, which is every data and AI product, if they are not on our AI Foundry, basically it's our platform. For me, it doesn't exist. Or what we said is, it's like any spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet. We do have, all of us, a lot of spreadsheet, right? For me, the products that are not there, not following the AI-ready data rules, not following the responsible AI KPIs, it's a tracking, monitoring of the AI models, because at the end of the day, I love handbags, but we are not selling handbags. We are putting molecules on the market, treatment. Right. So we have some criteria on responsible AI, which are just must to have. Right. And all these products, they need to be there. We put also the concept of the monitoring of the AI, but also the monitoring of the AI agent. And we create what we call the AI agent hub, because also the AI agent, they follow the same governance. People, they will ask, okay, I have an idea where I can put the AI agent. So we need to categorize, to classify all our AI agents on the AI Foundry, that I am able, when you ask me, or if I have an audit, because we have a lot of audits every year, so okay, we are able to track where we are doing AI, which data we are using, the access of it, the control of it, but also the value that we do have, the AI product that we do have. If you ask me, I go to the AI Foundry, I know the whole AI product that we are building, the cost of them, what's their value, and what's their, I would say, accuracy.
Yep.
In terms of scientific part of it.
Right.
It's not only about, because like I will give a quick example, which is funny. People, they ask me from the business side, Kaoutar, I want to use Gen AI, but you know, I want to put some constraint of it. okay. But from a mathematical perspective, LLMs, it's unsupervised learning, guys. How they work, they are working in a space, and when they find their optimum, which is not the best thing, they move to another space.
Yep.
So if you make a constraint of LLMs, it's not anymore LLMs.
Right.
What we need to control, it's not the LLMs itself, but the outcome of it,
That's right.
the bias that we can have. That's why it's important to have the human in the loop, and that's why we have the AI agent hub to track, to categorize, to classify all our GenAI AI agent APIs and stuff that we do have.
Awesome. Should we launch one and make it real for these folks?
Yes.
Okay. I hope it works. Do I need to do something?
Doesn't work. But basically, I can do it. So we built what we call the... No,
See how Concierge uses the AI Agents platform to assist a clinical researcher seeking for specific trial data. She describes her need to find recent clinical trials for a specific patient group. After analyzing, the clinical study and drug information search agent is identified as the best fit. With added criteria, the agent quickly returns a list of relevant recent trials matching all her specified parameters. For her next question, Concierge switches to the clinical database analyst to access internal Sanofi data, respecting the researcher's access rights. By integrating with the AI Agents platform, Concierge securely unlocks Sanofi-wide capabilities within GenAI, honoring Sanofi's access and data constraints. This is what happens when power meets precision. Stay tuned.
So for 30 seconds, what was the concept behind the concierge? I know we showed one example of it, but the bold vision that you
The
had.
whole vision, it's like conciergerie. When you have someone who can do everything for you, it's the same. That's why we call it concierge. I can use it for every domain. Like, for example, to book my travel, they can do it. I need a meeting with Paul Hudson, who is the CEO. I can just ask concierge, please, concierge, can you give
Right.
me availability of Paul? Or can we do specialized, that's what we call the specialized agent, on clinical research, on clinical study, on R&D, on M&S, on manufacturing, on supply chain. Like, for example, a sales rep.
Right.
They have some appointment with doctors. We have a treatment. They can just ask concierge, concierge, can you tell me what can be today, my today journey?
Yep.
What are the HCPs that I can target today, where I should go? Or maybe I'm targeting Kaoutar today as a HCP. Right. Concierge will tell you, oh no, Kaoutar don't like to receive sales reps. Kaoutar prefer even to receive WhatsApp's message.
Right.
Or email, or, that's the philosophy behind concierge. Everything around our AI agent, GenAI we built, the front door is concierge. It comes, as I mentioned, from booking meetings, booking travel, even summarizing emails, tasks to some specific topic like sales reps, M&S, supply chain, or clinical study report, and so on.
It's amazing. That's a bold vision and a completely different way of looking at how...
It's my baby, concierge. I have it in my phone. It does everything for me now.
Awesome. This has been a pleasure always chatting. And there's a disclaimer, by the way. It was only two humans talking. Nothing was scripted by GenAI, this discussion. So thank you so much. If you have
Thank you so much.
questions or no questions? Time.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.